Well, the GOP presidential race has lost another candidate. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. That is him with his girlfriend. That became big news last week. I mean, it doesn't matter because he's out. Our NewsNation newsmakers, Rina Shah, Dr. Tom Pitts, and Jennifer Coffindaffer are here to talk about the fact that Tim Scott stepped down. I mean, nobody was really surprised. Were you, Rina?
I was not surprised because I knew it was only a matter of time. At some point between debate 1 and 2, but between 2 and 3, it was most evident. I think it was evident to him because if you heard his closing remarks at debate number 3, you heard what I would consider a legacy speech. He talked about all the things that have always been important to him, ranging from his mother to prayer to women's sports to just the crisis of culture and spirituality in this country. To me, that was really putting the bow tie on this presidential run that he knew was not going to end successfully. So I think when you look at this run on its face, it's very easy to say, oh, Tim Scott couldn't make it when everybody seems to want to go for a Trump type of guy. In fact, the super PAC mission PAC that was supporting him said it's clear that people don't want an alternative to Trump. But look, this requires some degree of nuance. And stick with me here. Tim Scott had a very hard right stance on abortion. But what I think the donors in the GOP primary are even starting to figure out is that Trump doesn't talk about abortion that much.
No,
and what even this donor class wants, essentially, they understand that in the overturn of Roe, nobody wants a federal ban. And Tim Scott would have wanted that. And therefore, he could probably not have been successful in the general election. And that's why I think already people were starting to abandon him, is that he was just too far hard right on abortion and he wasn't willing to give it up when the rest of the party kind of has said, as you heard through Chris Christie on the debate stage, it's done, let it be with the state.
I don't know. I think that there was more to it, too. I think that Scott was a little too, I don't know, nice guy. Maybe, Dr. Pitts, show us what it takes for somebody to be open to a new flavor when, you know, the majority of the electorate is stuck on Trump. That's what the polls are showing. He was squeaky clean in some ways, and maybe people wanted more grit. I don't know.
No presence. Nobody turns around when he walks into a room. You know what I mean? He's polling at 2.2%. Imagine if I tried out, me, a non-professional baseball player, I try out at the Yankees, I bat .002, and then I go, hey, guys, let's meet after I have a huge announcement. Believe it or not, I'm dropping out of tryouts. Yeah, man, you were like the lowest polling one of course you dropped out. Thanks for doing it before you prolonged it even longer.
But Jennifer, you haven't given up on the idea of someone nice actually possibly leading the country again.
Well, absolutely. I tell you what, I liked him. I liked that he was non-divisive. I liked that he wanted to work with Democrats. I liked his whole stance. But you know what? Unfortunately, a nice guy equals milquetoast. He wasn't sensational, and that's why he couldn't make his way. But let's look for him in the future, I hope.
Yeah, I think like he said, you know, the voters have spoken. Yeah. Not now, Tim. So that kind of left the door open for his future in politics. Okay, so we were talking about this throughout the hour because I'm trying to figure out why I go to my local drugstore and I have to ask for help because, you know, everything's locked up. You guys have experienced this. I'm one of those people that doesn't like to order everything online. I like to actually go and see people.
Touch and feel. And
now toilet paper is nothing sacred? I'm going to start with you, Dr. Pitts.
Yeah, you know, I will tell you this. You know, when you see Louis Vuitton, when you see these high-end items going away, and shoplifting, those are opportunists. Actually, the toilet paper is more sad than other things. When you're in a big city, for those that don't know, like I'm in New York City, Chicago, if you're homeless on the street, there's no bathrooms for you. No one's going to let you in. No Starbucks is going to admit you without buying something. And so toilet paper is a reflection of an unmet need for people to fulfill their basic, because there's no resale value on toilet paper, right? It's always because they have to go somewhere in the street.
Thank you for that visual. Thank you for that visual, Dr. Pitts. I mean, you were so,
real thing. You know,
you were so poetic in the beginning, and I was like, God, this is so compassionate. And all of a sudden,
it's what we walk our kids by every morning and the bus stop. You know,
you got a good point.
It needs to be seen.
Yeah, you got a good point. I lived in Manhattan for 5 years.
I don't know, Rina. I think it is a crime of opportunity because I don't know that I want to place this on the homeless who are stealing toilet paper, Rina.
Well, I'm having a flashback to 2020 here when people were hoarding toilet paper, right? I mean, are people expecting the next, I don't know, crisis of some sort and starting to hoard again? I haven't seen any data that leads me to believe that. But here's the thing about toilet paper. It's that it does take up quite a bit of space on shelves. And people in my generation, okay, look, I'm an elder millennial. I'm going to readily admit that. I hit subscribe and save on a certain online retailer and it shows up at my door. I don't have to go lug it. I don't have to drag it in a little cart. And frankly, it's kind of done for me and I don't have to think about it for months on end. So I think this thing about shelf space is a real thing.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.